Welcome back to the Star Monroe Show, and this is episode 7 of an exclusive mini-series inside my podcast. It's called The Wild Love Affair, 12 intimate conversations on embodiment, living what you know, devotional living, and deeper intimacy. And a while back, I really unpacked each of those phrases. And what I want to call attention to, first of all, is this deeper intimacy, this deeper relationship that we have with ourselves. Because in my work with my clients over the years, and also with myself, what I've seen, witness, what women desire, they want deeper intimacy, they want deeper connections. And we tend to think that it's somebody else's fault. It's our partner, or it's the people that we're choosing, or it's our family. And yet, if we displace the blame over onto somebody else, then we never have any control of that. We can't change anybody else. The only person that we can change is ourselves, which is where my work really sits in. It's about deepening the relationship that you have with yourself, because the relationship, the way that you stay with yourself, the way that you treat yourself, the way that you talk to yourself, the way that you know yourself will send and is sending ripple effects out into everything and everyone around you in your life. So if you look out at your life, if you wake up at 3 a.m. in the morning, if you're brushing your teeth at night and this thought, these desires run through you, it's like, is this it? There must be more for me. There's a deeper way of me living. I want to be seen. I want to be heard. I want to be validated. I want to be appreciated for me. Well, that all starts and ends with you. Today, I'm going to dive into the edginess of slowing down. And I know last week I started to really unpack this, because this is at the heart, this is really underneath everything of my work. And I talked last week that the women that shifted, the women that really got their deep transformation, and I've seen it with myself as well, it's the ones that are willing to slow down. It's the ones that are willing to look at their current pace, the pace that they're moving through life, and to also look at the words, the wisdom, the ways that I seed, I share with you, and for you to not look at them as concepts, which is what our brain wants to do. It's like, okay, I've slowed down now, where's my goodies? It's a way of living, and this is what I'm here to guide you into. It's a new way of living. It's a whole lifestyle. It's not just a habit. It's not just a pattern. It's not just meditating or journaling. This is a whole new way of living with yourself. And if you look at yourself and who you are here today, you are a cornucopia, that's a good word, a plethora of your generational lineage, of your beliefs that you've taken from society, from your peers, from your upbringing, from social media, from your experiences. And you need to, especially if you're craving this deeper life, you need to infuse more space into your life so you can start to unravel what is yours and take it and run with it and release what is no longer yours. And that takes time, my friend. It's not something that's going to happen overnight. This is ongoing work. I've caught myself out more than once. I've healed, I've done the work, and then there's another layer to it. And so I surrender into this ongoing journey of relinquishing, releasing what is no longer mine as I come back home, as you return back to you, as I return back to me. It really is this reclamation of who we are. And we do know who we are. We do know who we are. We know what we need to do. We have this voice inside us. The $1 million question is, are you listening to that voice? Can you hear it? And then if you are hearing it, are you acting upon it? This is not my quote. This is from somebody else. I can't remember who this was. But she was a coach for weight loss. And she said, women know what they need to do. It's just the actioning that needs to be practiced. And in my world, it's all about taking intentional action and really looking at that action. So if we're coming back to the theme of today, and I'm talking about the edginess of slowing down, because that is the ingredient, the ingredient you need to be able to come back home to yourself, to create this deeper, embodied, devotional, intimate relationship with yourself, which is going to transform the relationship you have with yourself. I mean, that's magnificent to think about that. And then it's going to transform everything that you touch in your world. It's like the Midas touch. It's going to transform everything. It's going to transform how you show up in relationships, how you ask for what you need. I was just writing some notes yesterday and today, and it's like I wrote a quote, and it was like, no one can reject you. You can never be rejected if you don't reject yourself. Do you want to write that one down? That's so good. It's so good. No one can reject you. You can never be rejected if you do not reject yourself. This is the depth of the work that you're here to do with me. It's becoming so rooted and grounded in who you are, having your back, that you will never abandon yourself. And in previous episodes, I've talked about my journey. So, I've lived this, and I continue to live this. It is this continuous journey of staying with myself, of telling myself my truth, of calling myself out on my bullshit, because we're really good at gaslighting ourselves. And it won't be this higher self, this soul version that gaslights us. It will be the younger versions of us. And I keep coming back to what you need is to slow down. You are not going to be able to do this well. You're not going to be able to do anything well in life unless you are willing to look at the pace you are living. So let me unpack this some more. And this is going to resonate with you if you're like, oh, who wants to slow down? God, that's so boring. I remember working with a brilliant client of mine, and she was like, oh, this is so boring. I'm just going to be boring if I don't do this. And it's like, yes, there's the magic. There's the portal we need to walk through. So you say, and I've got my notes. If you're watching me on YouTube, you might see my eyes just go to the left or the right, whatever way the screen's looking. But it's like this slowing down. I've heard this time and time again. Why would I want to slow down? It feels boring. It's confronting. It can even feel repulsive. It's like that disgust. It's like, oh, why do I want to slow down? And the first thing, I mean, this definitely was me as well. It's like I built my life on survival. I built my life on always doing, to get my worthiness from producing, from my output, from performing, from being the pleaser, making sure everyone is all right. So we have all these masks that we take on board as we navigate and we move through life. And it's like being willing to look at the masks and to realize, like, is this mine? Like I said, you've got to be able to look at what's yours. I've talked about a while back, like this red ball of wool that we are. And it's like, you need to create space, and space is going to come with slowness. So you can start to unbind yourself from what is not yours. So yeah, this if you're feeling this away around slowing down, then that's perfectly normal. And I would say it is perfectly normal, and it is the portal that is inviting you to walk through for you to change anything. And so I was talking a little bit about me, and I'm sure you resonate with this. If you struggle to slow down, you're addicted to speed. You're addicted to doing more. You're wired for it. And again, somewhere along your lineage of you slipping out of your mother's vagina to where you are now, you linked slowing down with shame, with punishment, maybe even danger. And so there's an invitation here to take your pen to your journal at some point and start to scribe out, what is my relationship with slowing down? What is my relationship to stillness? What is my relationship to rest? And just let your pen flow on that page. Don't edit it, just let it fall out of you. And this is a practice that I would recommend you keep coming back to. You can keep adding to it, because underneath this, through this, you're going to find out your belief system. And then you can start to question those beliefs. Where did they come from? And so if I take you back to my childhood, I'm the eldest. Well, at the time, I'm the eldest of four siblings, but my younger sister didn't come into the world until I was 17. So this is when we were younger. And so I remember I was about, let me say 9, 10, 11. And so then I had my brother and my sister, my brother Steve and my sister Em. And we lived at home with my mum and dad. And I remember that, I mean, I can see where I got the addiction to doing more, to always being busy. It's from my mother. My mother got it from her mother. And we used to sit on the couch when she was cleaning or when she was doing something. Or actually, even if she was in the kitchen, we used to sit on the couch, used to loll around, relax. And she would come along with a wooden spoon and whack our legs and say, what are you sitting around for? There is so much to be done. There wasn't anything to be done. There's so much to be done. You need to go outside. You need to do this. You need to be doing this. So I learned really early on that resting was dangerous. Resting was you do not get to rest. And I learned that producing, tidying, keeping things organized was where I got my sense of belonging, because we as human beings, we always want a sense of belonging, and also where I was loved by my mother, right? So if I did everything, tidied everything up, and she still says now, like I'm 54, she still says now, oh, you're such a good girl when I organize everything, when I tidy everything up. And there's still a part of me that's like, oh, I'm a good girl, like, so this stuff is wired into us. It's really it's baked into our system. So it is going to give you so much when you take your time to really investigate and get curious your relationship with slowing down, your relationship with rest. And so in all of that as well, I was taught that rest is lazy. No, you don't get to rest. And so, of course, slowing down feels edgy. Of course it feels edgy. And so this is a natural part of this reclamation of your rhythm, because the clients that I work with, the women in my world, this is what they want. They want to be reconnected back to their body, their wisdom, their rhythm. And it means that you have to pattern interrupt and do things differently. Question your beliefs. Questioning your beliefs is one. So that's going to be what, like on a cerebral level, but you're going to have to pattern interrupt and really start to notice. I'm going to give you some examples in a minute. Really start to notice the pace that you are moving through the world right now. And first of all, I wouldn't even slow down. I wouldn't even slow down. I would just start to observe the pace. And this is how I started to unravel myself from this addiction to adrenaline, addiction to cortisol. Well, I'm not sure if you know, but when you're always doing, when you're constantly on the go, when your body doesn't welcome rest, when it looks as rest as dangerous and stillness is uncomfortable, your nervous system is wired up for fight, flight, fawn, freeze, or flap, or a plethora of all of them. And so as you're in this constant state of doing, what you're doing is activating your hormones of adrenaline, cortisol, and most women don't even know that they're hooked on these hormones. They have no idea. They just know that they're running on this all the time. They just know that this is their pace. I move around really fast. This is what I do. I never stop. I'm always doing. I hold everything together. This is who I am. This is who I am. You're never who you are, right? We are always evolving if we allow ourselves to evolve. And so the thing is with these hormones, especially cortisol skews your perception of time. It skews your perception of time. And so you're running around, and then because you're running around, this cortisol gets jacked up, and then you're like, well, I haven't got enough time, so I need to do even more. And I started to go, well, I'm trying to think when I first started to do this, probably over 10 years ago, because I was living back in England. I was in my old house, and I remember, well, there was a couple of things in me that I knew I was always running around. I was always late. I was always late for everything. And I would try to do 50,000 things before I got out the door. I had to go somewhere. And I worked from home. I had a Pilates studio, I had a pole dancing studio at home. And I was always running behind with clients. I was never on time. That in itself is highly stressful, really stressful. And so when I was late for anywhere, I would shame myself. I would get myself into this real spiral of like, oh my God, why you've done this again, and someone's going to be talking about you. And so I've learned over the years, I've learned to slow down. Because it didn't serve me, because it frazzled me out. And for me personally, many years ago, I had 3 nervous breakdowns because of this. So, it took 3 times for me to wake up and realize, no, I can't carry on living like this. And I was thinking the last time I had a breakdown was 2015. Oh my God, yes. So it was 10 years ago. So I've been doing this work for over 15 years of slowing down. And so 10 years ago, I had my last nervous breakdown. And it was then I was like, oh no, you cannot do this anymore. You have to look at your life. And so what I did was I used to cram my calendar with appointments. And I thought that was like, I gave myself a badge of honor, like a merit badge, because I was like, oh my God, I'm so busy. I've got so many clients. I had 3 businesses on the go. I was at that time, I was running a pole dancing studio. I was a showgirl. I was also a Pilates studio owner. And I probably was moving into running retreats and coaching as well. I was like, oh yeah, I can do it all. Yeah. And it was just like, it was too much. I wasn't giving myself the space. I wasn't giving myself any time. So slowly, I started to look at my diary and I started to say to myself, well, how do you want to move through your world? How do you want your calendar to be? How do you want to work with your clients? What works for you? And so slowly over time, I shifted everything. And then to bring us up to speed into the beginning of this year, 2025, I think we're in, I started to get hooked on working again and moving faster. And so it was another wake up call for me. It was like, oh no, this is not the path for you, because you're going back down old patterns and they don't serve you. And so I always have to remember my medicine. I know that you know your medicines. You need to apply your medicines liberally every single day. So my medicines is, well, one of my medicines is space. And so when I looked at my life at the beginning of the year, and my whole lifestyle changed because I moved my adult son from the UK to live here with me in Turkey. And that required a lot of energy and time and compassion, because I was committed to being a better mother, and I could feel myself going down all these patterns of like the way I spoke to him. And one of the main reasons for him to come over here was for us to build a better bond together. And so when I looked at my life more recently, I was like, oh, there's no space again. You're working all the time. And so again, I had to make a decision. I chose myself. I chose what was good for me, even though it was uncomfortable. And actually, this is probably really useful, because as I came out of that period of working really intensely, and it was a full on, like, it was probably compounded 6 years of working nonstop over and over and over again, different programs, different clients, different courses. I had just lost myself in all of that. And I was near a burnout at the beginning of the year, but I recognized it. And so as I came out of it, that addiction or that adrenaline and cortisol, that doesn't go away straight away. It's in our bodies, and it takes time. And so I remember as I came out of this period, and I was like, no, you need to close your business down. You need to focus on you. You need to take really good care of you and your son. I remember I was spiraling. I didn't know what to do. So I was just like making myself do things. And so that kind of went on for about a month and a half. And then I took a trip. I went traveling. And it's only more recently, because I keep giving myself the space, and I keep saying, don't add anything into your life. Keep divesting everything. Divest everything. And one of the random things that I did as well this year is I'm confessing up to all my habits here. I noticed that I kept throwing loads of clothes away. I kept taking them to charity, like big black sacks of clothes. And I did one of these black sacks when my son moved here. And I took a moment with myself, and I was like, you keep buying loads of clothes, but you keep getting rid of loads of clothes. I think you've got an issue. You've got a problem here. And so how this overdoing for me was spilling out in our lives, because how you do anything is how you do everything. This is why I love slowing down. It will give you so much more. It will give you more space. It will give you more time. Your time just bends in your favor. It gives you a recalibrated nervous system, as a nervous system that can hold more ease. It can hold the space for the unknown. And this is essential as we're here to evolve, and we're here to grow and to let parts of us go. And as we get older, there's so many people out there that are clinging on to their youth. And it's like, no, you've got to let it go. And there is this unknownness. And so giving yourself this ability to be able to slow down and be with yourself, you also learn, you'll hear the thread through all these podcasts, you can stay with yourself. You can stay with yourself through the peaks and the valleys, through the ebbs and the flows, through the ups and the downs. You never abandon yourself. And also when you go off track, because we're not perfect, we're going to move forward and apply our medicines and create a life that works for us. But then also we're going to veer off track. you're going fast all the time. You're not going to notice that until you're way off track. And so this is what I like is like I sort of notice that I veer off track sometimes with my eating, or sometimes with my training, or sometimes with my sleep habits, or I'm not journaling in the morning and I'm like, oh, hey, it might go into 2 days, 3 days, maybe a week, but I'm like, hey, come back, come back. And this is what you want to be able to do. You want to be able to call yourself back to yourself. God, this is good. This is so good. You want to be able to call yourself back, and slowness gives you this. And so if I come back to, I went off a track, but if I came back to, like, I was buying clothes, so this overdoing, I was just like buying clothes. I was just like, oh, I love this. This is who I am. I buy clothes. I dress up. And I was like, but you keep giving everything away to charity. What are you doing? Stop. And so I was like, okay, we'll stop. And I tell you what, it hasn't been hard. It has not been hard. One, because I live in Turkey and there's not that many shops, but I did go to America, and I was like, oh God, there's so many nice clothes and I want this. And but what it did, it was like, it gave me a different perspective. And I went, there's always going to be nice clothes. There's always going to be something else there. There's always going to be another beauty product. There's always going to be another shirt. There's going to be another dress. I'm a dress woman. There's always going to be another dress. And then there's always going to be another one and another one and another one. When is it enough, Star? When is it enough? And by removing this sneaky little way of abandoning myself through buying loads of clothes, what it's done, it's made me face the feelings that I was masking by buying. Because when I was buying, I got my dopamine hit. When you do things fast, when you get things done, when you check things off your checklist, when someone goes, oh my God, you're doing so well, look at you, you're holding it all together, we get a little strokes, we get a little dopamine hits. And so as you start to remove those, you have to sit in the discomfort of feeling. And slowly what starts to happen, you build your capacity to be able to sit with that. That's the first thing. And then the second thing is, those dopamine hits that you crave, you stop craving them. You stop craving them. And then what happens is your nervous system starts to recalibrate. I want to say soften. I don't know if that's the right word, but let's use it. Soften. It starts to yield. Ooh, nice. So it's not bracing. It's not like, what's next? What's next? What's next? It's like a deer in headlights. It softens, it yields, and you become easier to be with. You become easier. You don't want to escape yourself. You don't want to escape yourself through the glass of wine, through the endless clothes, through ignoring the conversation you need to have with your partner, or dating people you don't really respect. So this, wasn't expecting to go off this tangent, but I was like, oh no, there's real life examples from me. But the edge is never the problem. So however you feel and what you're describing about your uncomfortability with slowing down, that is your portal. That's your portal to walk through and do things differently, to be able to sit with all of this, to be able to sit with yourself. And I was writing a post that I'll probably put on Instagram this week. But one of the things that I've never understood in all the years I've been doing my job, but it's like this obsession to have all these nervous system recalibration tools. It's like the tapping, the havening, the breath work. And I'm not like, they're good. Like, work for you, they're good, right? But I've never understood the obsession, the meditation, the dancing, the moving your hips. I've never understood it if you're doing the tools, but you're not doing this real work in real time. You're not changing your pace. You're not telling yourself the truth. and you're abandoning yourselves in other ways, because what you're doing is you're self-soothing for your self-abandonment. You're not self-soothing yourself. You're plastering over the cracks. You're plastering over the cracks of you not living an honest life with yourself. I feel this is so good. This is so good. I'm telling you. You're self-soothing your self-abandonment. And that's what I was doing a couple of years ago. And actually, oh my God, this is so good, because I was thinking the other day, I was like, actually, you don't do half the amount of practices and rituals that you were doing 2 or 3 years ago. Like I had this, excuse me, I'm just going to cough. I had this whole morning routine and had this whole evening routine. And I was like, you don't really do. Like, you've really pared it down. You've simplified it. And I'm like, and I've just got it. I don't need it. I don't need to do all those things anymore, because I'm living in honesty with myself. I have this deep intimacy with myself. And also, having this deep intimacy with yourself is so important, especially if you have built your glorious life on survival, and you have our old friend shame as a friend here, because all the time that you are able to stay with yourself, and all the time that you don't abandon yourself, you don't shame yourself, that you can hold space for all these parts of you, no one else can shame you. No one else can reject you. No one else can embarrass you. No one, it doesn't matter what they do. You've got you. This is what deeper intimacy is. And the reason why I was saying this is I was just having a conversation with my son a minute ago, and he was like digging at me about something. And normally I would fly at that dig, but I was like, yeah, okay, I hear you, no problem. And but it didn't hit. He didn't rub the salt in the wound, because the wound's not there anymore, because I can hold myself. Over and over again, this is why it's so important to build this relationship with yourself. And so if I come back to the tools and like, I was like, yeah, I'm simplifying. I don't need to do it all. And what I've done is I simplified. And in the morning, I get up, I will make my coffee, and it's a ritualistic experience. I will make my coffee. It is ritualistic. I've pared down all my supplements, because I was taking loads and loads of supplements. I was like, I don't think you need to take all of these anymore. And then I go outside and I sit with my journal, my pen, and I journal. And maybe I journal for 1 page, 2 pages, or 3, maybe 4, but the majority of the time it's 1 or 2 pages. And then I will always throw the 3 pennies, do the I Ching, and then read the Gene Keys. And I tend to skim over what I need. And I trust that I'm receiving the right information. I trust that this is good for me. And then in the evening, like, I had this whole plethora of things I was doing a couple of years ago. And now, and I'm just tweaking it more recently, I'm like, we are off the computer at a certain time, and we're going to have a shower, and we're reading. Like, reading before bed is like my medicine. It's just like, oh my God, yes, this is what I need. And for me, a good night's sleep is everything. I don't need all those rituals. And this, if you have a plethora of rituals, then they're amazing and they work for you. And why I'm sharing this is because in real time, I'm evolving, and I'm realizing, because I've created this happy, safe, rooted place within me, I need less and less outside me to give myself that sense of safety and stability. So good. So coming back, rounding this off, is you don't recalibrate your nervous system through more tools. And that's a good note to add on to the slowing down. Slowing down is not another tool. It's not another thing that you add on your checklist and you check off. You're like, yeah, I've slowed down. Where's my goodies? No, slowing down becomes a way of life. I'm here to guide you into a whole new way of life. It's a lifestyle that becomes you. This is why these are 12 intimate conversations on embodiment. You become what you are doing. You've become what you're doing already. You only have to look at yourself. We become what we do. Our actions are us. So you recalibrate your nervous system. You create this sense of safety, this sense of wholeness within you by telling yourself the truth and choosing differently in real life, in real time. And this all comes down underneath the ingredient, the layer underneath all of this is the pace. It's the pace that you are moving through life. This is what the unhurried woman does. This is her way of living. And I was playing with this title last week, The Unhurried Woman. I was like, as I've transitioned through my businesses, and I went from, I was working very much in midlife reclamation, and I'm not there anymore. I'm not even in midlife. I'm mid 50s. I'm nearly 60. I'm not in midlife anymore. I don't class myself in midlife. I class myself as a woman in her 50s, and I'm getting ready for my 60s. I'm getting ready for my 6th decade here on planet Earth. So that midlife reclamation, it doesn't sit with me anymore. I've outgrown it. And then I moved into main character energy about writing your script. And that works because it's so important. But the thing is, unless you do this work of understanding who's inside you and who's writing the script, maybe, and this is where I kind of lost it a little bit as well myself, maybe your ego is still writing the script. You want your soul to write the script. And then last year I transitioned into the high standards woman, and she underpins all of my work because all of this work is about requiring a higher standard for yourself. You have to demand more from yourself before you demand it from the world and anybody else. You're the one who has to show up. You're the one who has to choose differently. You are the one who does things differently first. And so from the high standards woman, the unhurried woman has arrived. I'm like, oh, yeah, I feel her. I am her. You are her. And she is here. She's not here to rush. She's not here to be led by false urgency. She's not here to be swept away by other people's agendas, opinions, and pace. She's here to lead herself. You can only lead yourself when you slow down and get really curious about what is going on inside you. And the unhurried woman, she doesn't fix her discomfort. She stays with it. And she lets that discomfort change her. She lets her discomfort change her. And that's how that's how we become this woman that we're returning to, this woman that we know is inside us, the woman that comes from our soul. You can say higher self, guardian angels, whatever works for you. But it's like this version of you that's calling you home. You're only going to come closer to her. You're only going to live aligned with her when you unbind yourself from everything that is not yours. I appreciate your time, your energy, your attention. Thank you for being here with me. You want to deepen the journey. You really feel this call to return back home to you. And you want to dive into this a little deeper, pick up my book. It's My Wild Love Affair by Star Monroe. It's available on Amazon, paperback, Kindle, and hardback. And this really walks you through my process over the last couple of years of returning home to myself. And I really, really unpick that process of rupture. Let me think if I can remember the process. I know there's rewrite. There is realignment, reclamation. There's another one that I'm not seeing, recognition. There you go. So it's like, for me, it really helped me to kind of unpack this process that you would use with sitting with, I find it really uncomfortable with sitting with slowness. There is the rupture. The rupture is I can't go through my life like this anymore. It's too fast. I'm losing myself in it. I don't know who I am. I'm disconnected from my body and my wisdom and my rhythm, and I want it back. That's the rupture, baby. The recognition is recognizing this. It's like going off, doing that self-inquiry work around the slowness, and then start to notice the pace that you are moving through life. And I said earlier, pick up my threads. It's like, I wouldn't change anything just yet. I will watch myself without judgment. I talk about this in the book. You watch yourself without judgment, and only from there can you change. When you look at yourself through the eyes of neutrality, change is coming around the corner. But if you are looking at yourself and going, oh my God, I'm so fast, I'm packing things in, I'm always late. I feel there's a couple of threads I need to pick up from my conversation today. It's like, if you look at that and tell yourself off and judge yourself, you're not going to do anything. You won't change. You'll just shame spiral yourself, or you'll change briefly, but it won't be a sustainable change. So you observe, you stay with yourself in the discomfort, and then you start asking yourself different questions. How do I want to move through life? What pace works for me? How do I want my diary? How do I want to start my days? How do I want to end my days? Always start with starting your days and end your days, because they bookmark each day. And so you start asking yourself deeper questions, and then you have to make aligned choices. So you're taking action, and that action is going to be uncomfortable. This is the rewrite. This is the realignment, and that takes time. And you're probably going to feel like you take 2 steps forward, 3 steps back, 1 step sideways, 1 step the other way. Part of the process. Change isn't linear. I don't care what formulas you've bought or how many people online are telling you. Change is not linear. It's zigzag. It's all over the place. All over the place. You need to be able to stay with yourself within that. And in that is the reclamation of you. In that is the reclamation of your rhythm, your wisdom, your body. This is what I talk about in the book. If you want to live this, if you want to embody a slower, more sensual way of life where you are deeply connected to you and you unhook yourself from false urgency, then get yourself on the wait list for the School of Devotional Living. That is starting in September. I think September the 14th. I'm going to be guiding you through 3 months. It's an immersion of you really deeply doing the work to recalibrate your nervous system so you can unhook from false urgency. You can live this devotional way and then enhance it and really become embodied in it by living more sensually. And then also, I've got lots for you today. Save these dates, the 29th to the 31st of August. 29th to 31st August. I'm going to be running a free online event. It's called the Unhurried Woman, where you get to dive deeper into my work with me. And I'm going to take you through live practices on the calls so you can shift your nervous system in real time. You can look at your relationship with time in real time, and you can create some devotional rituals with the things you are doing in your life already. And this is what I love about me and the way that I work, is I'm not going to add more stuff into your world. We take what you're doing already and we enhance it. We recalibrate it. That's what this work's all about. So everything that you need is in the show notes. And then if you're feeling the call to hire me as your personal guide, mentor, and therapist, apply for private mentorship. And I would love to have a conversation with you about that. In devotion, until next time.